There's a story about a true story about a young boy who was blind and begging on the sidewalk of New York City. Had a hat next to him, a sign that said, "I'm blind, please help." And there were some coins in his hat. He'd been sitting there for much of the day and not too many coins. But a man came by and dropped some coins in the hat and then picked up the sign, turned it over, wrote something on it, stuck it back in the hat, and walked off. Well, soon enough, a lot more coins and folding bills showed up in the hat. As a matter of fact, the boy had never had this much money in his hat. And a couple hours later, he heard the distinctive sound of the footsteps of the man who'd come earlier. And the man stopped and looked in the hat. And the boy said, aren't you the man who came earlier and wrote on my sign?" And the man said, "Yes, I am." The boy said, "Well, what did you write? A lot of people have been putting money in my hat." He said, "I just wrote what you told me, but in different words. I wrote, 'Today is a beautiful day, but I cannot see it.'" Reminding people to be grateful for their ability to see made them so much more generous than reminding them of the lack that he had in the sight and that we all can find if we want to find. We all lack something, right? There's all something we need. Got to have more. Got to get that. Gotta. We've got those feelings in us. That's part of the human condition. And yet this morning I'd like to talk about the process of radical grace. And it is a process. It's not just a thing, but it's a way of being and a way of processing information. Radical grace. Radical meaning grounded. Radish. You think of a radish, it's a root. The scientific name for a root is a radical. Radical, grounded in, rooted in gratitude. Gratitude, the same word that says gratis, free. The same root of the word grace, meaning the gifted, unmerited divine assistance that comes to those who are open to receive it. So, a willingness to do what the book of Thessalonians advises, in all things give thanks. It's one of my very favorite mantras because it reminds me that whatever arises is gift and is something to be thankful for. You say, "Well, Rudi, that sounds good, but what does that mean?" Well, I'm not sure, but I'm working toward an understanding which involves several steps. And one is that radical grace is a training of the mind to focus on what brings peace and a sense of expansion rather than that sense of lack and that sense of contraction. To really feel a willingness to focus on that which expands. I know that what we resist persists, and what we appreciate appreciates. What we don't want, we have to push away with force. And what we don't want is coming toward us with X amount of force. It has to. That's what life has brought you, this unpleasant person, this disease, this difficult circumstances, financial challenge, whatever it is that you want to resist. I don't want that in my life. I don't want that disease. I don't want that financial challenge. I'm holding it out. I know life brought it to me, but I'm stronger than that. I'll keep pushing, right? But that which brought that circumstance to you will not stop. Lessons unlearned will be repeated. And what we appreciate, appreciates and grows. Or as my teacher Arnold Patton liked to say, what we focus on expands. we now know through the miracle of modern technology and brain imaging that each one of us is bombarded with inputs at any given moment. This moment right here, you think you're just sitting here watching me and listening to me, maybe you're really thinking about your shopping list. Maybe you're really thinking, gosh, I wish it'd be over soon. I want to get out into that beautiful weather. Maybe you're thinking about the football game you were at yesterday or the concert you're going tomorrow. More likely, you're doing all those things at once, simultaneously. Because the nature of the human mind, we now discover, we now know, scientifically proven, is to have a new thought every 3 to 5 seconds. And that thought is picked out of approximately 250,000 pieces of stimuli entering your nervous system every moment of every day. 250,000 of them. You can't count them. You don't think about it, but every light, every piece of clothing that's in the room, every sound, every smell, every feeling, not to say nothing of your memories and your expectations and your sadness and your joy, they're all bombarding you simultaneously, and you get to choose which one you pick. Mostly it's a default choice. We just pick whatever is most prominent in the environment right this moment, but you get to choose. We now understand the science of positive thinking is no longer just Pollyanna. It is scientifically grounded in the awareness that we have the capacity to choose what we want to think. And most of us choose not to choose because it's easier to go with the default setting. And if you want to know more about this, Dr. Cynthia over here has her PhD in this area of understanding how to choose cognitively what you choose to think about. And she can tell you in great detail, but the details don't matter. What matters is a willingness to make a choice, to engage in a choice process, to recognize that one way to ease the suffering from any emotional experience or anything that's, quote, challenging is to open to it rather than trying to push it away, and feel a willingness to integrate this difficulty and be with it rather than exerting energy to make it go away. Use that exact same energy to say, hello, welcome. Now, if the energy of the unpleasant person, the circumstance, is coming at you with, let's say, 100 units of energy, just say 100x is coming at you, to keep it out is going to require what? At least 101x to keep it out. To the extent that you're successful in doing so temporarily. Now imagine if instead of pushing 101 units of energy out, you welcomed and went with the force of the energy. Now what's happened through the incredible divine property of the multiplicative power of the universe is as you welcome that which was, quote, negative, rather than pushing it away, and add not just your energy and your willingness, but what I'm going to call God, the divine sacred other, invited into the process, an amazing thing happens. That which is moved toward you with 100 units of energy now has 80. And you say, but Rudi, how does that math work? My brain cannot compute it. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, your brain will never compute it. So stop trying and relax a little and just give it a try. Just try welcoming and being grateful for that which you wish would get the heck out of your life. And watch its power diminish. Because as you do so, you move beyond that illusion of separation, that I am here and that is there. I am here, the good guy, and that, the bad guy, is attacking me. Whether that guy is ISIS or your next door neighbor, or your own propensity to reach into the refrigerator every time you come up with a negative thought in your mind. Whatever it is that you wish were different is your attempt to enforce the illusion of separation. Keep it there, rather than recognizing that it's you. It's one. We're all one. All of it is woven together. And as you move beyond the illusion of separation and into the truth of the connection of all of life, the ineffable yes of the universe is there to support you. Not because Jesus said it was so 2,000 years ago, and Jesus said it was so 2,000 years ago. Not because the Buddha said it was so 2,500 years ago, and the Buddha said it was 2,500. Certainly not because Rudi Harst said it this morning, but because as you move into this divine experiment of radical gratitude, you'll find it out for yourself. I promise you. Does in all things mean that you're happy about it? Does in all things give thanks mean that you're happy that someone's grouching at you? That you're happy that America is being attacked by ISIS and that there's crazy people with machine guns walking into churches blasting people away? No, of course not. Radical gratitude is not being converted into Pollyanna who wants to hide her head and pretend everything's fine. I'm thinking positive. Oh, the world's a beautiful place. No, that's not what positive science of psychology is. The positive science of psychology says, I can choose my thought. The positive science of spirituality says, I'm not alone in this process. There is a divine other that wants to assist this, and I don't need to know what it is. I don't need to know how it works. The radical gratitude asks me to be with what is now. Not what was yesterday, not what I worry will be tomorrow, but to be radically present and grounded in this moment and just say yes to what is with an open heart, with a willingness to see that everything presented to me is a gift.